So I wanted to show you what it looks like when you are taking your own income, what you're already making, and turning it into cash flow by changing your payment amounts. So when you are changing the amount that you are making in a payment every single month, you are going to gain cash flow, which is going to help you pay off your debt so very quickly that you're going to be shocked. It could be such a game changer for you if you just learn how to turn those payments into cash flow. And I'm going to show you how we're going to work with a lady that I actually worked with today to turn her payments into cash flow, which paid off her debt so quickly she was shocked. So I want to share that with you. I want you to understand that you do not have to sit spinning your wheels in debt. You can actually stop the insanity and get out of debt so much faster than you ever thought was possible. And for me not to sit here and show you what I'm working with day in and day out and giving you ideas in your own finances would be a shame. So I'm going to share with you one I worked with today. She was a beautiful lady who is having trouble with cash flow. So we're going to talk about what her income was. So $5,200 in income per month. A lot of you guys have that income. Some of you have a lot higher. Sometimes you have a lot lower. But regardless, you can do this strategy with whatever income you have. You just have to know how to use a line of credit to literally save you from these payments. She had a very low mortgage balance. She's been paying on it for a while, but she has a payment of $1,461. So this was her income. She has a mortgage that we're going to show at $63,000. Then she has credit cards. So let's talk about her credit card. She has an American Express at about $5,800. This comes with a $168 payment. This mortgage I said was at $1,461. This was the American Express. Citibank card at $11,900. So this is Citi. And her payment, she has a really low payment because she has a low interest rate, which is shocking for a credit card like this. So $315 is her payment. And then she has, wow, she has a loan. Bless her. It is at $21,473 for the balance. And the payment is $770 a month. This is the loan. All right. And then she also has tax debt. Oh, you all know what I say about taxes. You got to get rid of that stuff. So the tax debt is $13,175 at $300 a month. And let's see. She has another personal loan that is at $74.85. That payment is $418 a month. This is a personal loan. Okay. I mean, can you guys relate? Don't we all have this going on? The only thing she doesn't have that most of you guys have is a car payment. Okay. So she literally has a car that she does not have to pay for. That's really great. That's not the usual, but we're going to talk about what just she does have looks like. So this was her income. This is her debt. So what are we going to do to work this debt off, and how quickly can we gain her some cash flow? Now, there's going to be a few ways she can work here because she has excellent equity in her home. This home balance, she actually has a value of $360,000. So for a lot of people that come to me, I would be looking at what can we do with a home equity line of credit that's going to completely change what's going on here. Okay. Now with this loan, are you going to believe it when I tell you that she has 48 months left on this? Let's just do some math right quick. I don't have a lot of time with you guys, but I'm going to try to put as much time as I can to kind of elementary teacher, like kind of show you what it looks like if we're actually working one-on-one with a client, but breaking it down so that you can see that it's not as bad as she thinks it is. Okay. So 48 months times 770. Let's just do that. $36,960 is going to be what's left. What's left. She's already been paying 1 year on this Discover loan, okay? So you're talking about $36,960 is left to pay on a $21,473 balance. Come on, people. I mean, if you didn't go past 4th grade, you can do the numbers on imagining what the interest rate is on this loan, okay? So if she's already been paying a year and she lacks 48 months, 770 times 60 months, $46,200 is what they're trying to take her for on this, and she got an original of $30,000. That's crazy. That's $16,200 that she's going to be paying in interest only. So we're going to stop that today. Just wanted to show you what that one loan looked like with 48 months left. Okay. So my title to this video is, how did we help her to gain $700 in cash flow per month? But we're really going to do 770. But we're going to do so much better than that. I just enticed you with that little video title, but we're going to do so much better than that you're going to be floored at what she's actually looking at when it comes to debt elimination. So let's add up her amounts first. So she has $1,461 on her home payment every month. She has $168 on her American Express payment every month, $315 on Citi, $770 on her Discover, $300 on taxes, and $418 on her personal loan. So that means that she has $3,432 in debt payments per month. I may need to stand up. This is so exciting. So debt payments. Okay. So this is what she's paying out of her $5,200 just in debt payments every month. Now, what about her living expenses? Well, let's look at this. Her living expenses are minimal. So she has about $1,000 in living expenses every month. So it's just herself and an adult child. So he gives her the $300, like I said, for rent. So this is her living expenses, meaning that she pays out $4,432 every month in total expenses. Okay, so we all on the same page of what's happening here. All right, so what does that mean her cash flow is? Well, if she has $5,200 in cash flow a month and then $4,432 in expenses, she has $768 per month in cash flow. So your cash flow is your income minus all of the expenses that you pay every single month, okay? So food, gas, utilities, car insurance, whatever. That's your total expenses. This is her debt payments and her expenses together. So she has $768 in cash flow every single month. Okay, so you have to know your numbers. She knew her numbers really, really well. We got this thing down to the penny. So let's talk about what she can do with $768 per month in cash flow. Now, let's look at what her total debt is. Her total debt is $63,000 for the home, $5,800 American Express, $11,900 on the Citi, $21,473 on her Discover, $13,175, and $74,85. So $122,833. I'll just make a line here. 122,833 is her total debt. Okay, so what are we going to do to not only free up cash flow so that she can start working off debt, but I'm telling you, it's going to be so much better than that. That this is kind of like a game I'm playing with you guys, because she has just in this loan alone 48 months left. Her home, she has about 12 years left on paying it off because she's been paying on this mortgage for a while. So what would Christy do if she was in this situation? Well, let's look. So we're going to keep her 4432. Let me write this up here so I don't forget what I've written. 3432 in debt payments, and then 1,000 in living expenses. This is sloppy and I know it, but I don't even care. So 768 in cash flow. She has a couple of ways she can move here. Now, if she doesn't like lines of credit, she has the money max. So I'm just going to throw that in there to let you know that if you don't like a line of credit, some people really deal with that, then don't do it. I'm not in for, you don't need to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Okay. So don't do it. But if you're okay with a line of credit, this is the very first thing I would check into if I were her. I would look at working with my equity in my home. I have a HELOC. You may be okay with a HELOC. If you are, this would be her option. Now remember, she had $360,000 of the value of this property. So in the state that she lives in, she could do a 90% loan to value, but let's say that she's in Texas and she couldn't get to 90%, she can only get 80%. So you would take the $360,000 that she has in value times 80%. So times 80%, that's $288,000 that she could get in a home equity line of credit. All right, does everybody understand that? Good. In this home equity line of credit, they will pay off your current mortgage. So $63,000 would be paid off into the line of credit. So that's going to leave her, and if I can do basic math, we're doing good here, $225,000 that she could wipe out everything. So what does that look like? If she had a total of $122,833 in total debt, she could come in here and pay it all off. So $122,833 total payoff. So total payoff into the line of credit. Now, I'm not even going to act like that I'm going to do this with math, so I'm going to use a calculator. So 288 minus 122,833 means that she would have $165,167 in available credit on this line of credit. So let me review really quick so that this makes sense. $360,000 is her value on her home times 80% loan to value means that $288,000 would probably be her line of credit on her equity. Okay. She has $122,833 in total debt, including her mortgage. Okay. So if she chose to pay off all of her debt into this one line of credit, what does that mean that her cash flow just popped up to? Anybody? Anybody? Well, she was paying $3,432 in monthly payments. What happened to these monthly payments when we transferred it into a line of credit? It became cash flow. It became cash flow. So now, not only does she have $768 in cash flow, not only did she gain the $770 for Discover, but she gained the whole $3,432 in cash flow, totaling $3,432 plus $768. She has a whopping $4,200 in cash flow now. Are you believing that? It was that simple. Happens every day. Are you stuck making monthly payments? Or are you using the bank to serve you instead of you serving the bank? Think about it. What just happened? She went from all of this debt, all of these monthly payments, 48 months left on this. Take the 48 times 770 to remind you how much she's going to be paying the bank to allow her to use this money. Let's think together. We've all got minds. We've just been told to think the way they want us to think. What if you flipped it up on them and thought logically about your money? This is your income. Make it serve you. All right, so let's go back. It's $4,200 now she has in cash flow. What are we going to do with that $4,200? Now, her debt is $122,833. She has this sitting available. She just has $165,000 sitting available to her. Is that going to cover 6 months of expenses if she loses her job? Well, I believe it will. Is that going to cover, if she has a car repair she needs to take out? I think so. So, Dave, does she need 6 months of savings sitting somewhere? Does she need to stockpile, a whole year of income in the event that she has an emergency? It seems like she has $165,000 sitting here waiting for her to use it if she needs to. So since we're in a credit society, and since we know that every dime we put into a checking or a savings account is what? Is it used by the bank so that they're loaning your savings out to other people up to 900% maybe? Well, I know. How about we take the money out of our savings and checking and we put it into our debt to get rid of the debt, so that this whole $360,000 that is her equity in her property is sitting there available for her to use as she needs to use it, instead of letting some ridiculous amount sit over here in a savings account that inflation is eating up. It's not that hard. You just have to know what their strategy is to make them money compared to your strategy is to get rid of the debt and keep your money. Okay? Good question. What is the payment for the line of credit? We're going to talk about that. So we have $4,200 now in cash flow. So let's wipe this out and say, now we have $4,200 in cash flow with $1,000 in expenses. So cash flow, monthly expenses. You notice I didn't put a payment for this line of credit in those expenses. Well, let's see why. So we now have the $122,000 that we have in debt over in our line of credit. And we're going to make this a really high line of credit. We're going to, the average rate right now for a HELOC is 9%, and that should be falling and maybe has in your situation. But we're going to make this a 15% line. Let's make it a 20% line of credit. 20%. Okay? You're not going to pay that on a home equity line of credit unless they are just taking advantage of you. Like I said, the average right now is about 9%. So let's see what we got. So $122,833 paid off all of this. Now we're putting your income here. So with these HELOCs, they will either have a checking account linked to it, or you can link your checking account to the HELOC. So what that means is as you get paid, so this $5,200 comes in, she deposits her whole income. Matthew Pillmore calls this paycheck parking. So your whole paycheck, it doesn't matter if you're paid daily, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, whenever you get paid, transfer your income in. So hers throughout the month is going to be about $5,200, meaning that $117,633 would be an average throughout the month, because she's going to be paying her expenses. Remember, the $1,000 she has for food, gas, whatever she pays in expenses. This is what her worksheet showed me. will have to come back out. And of course, she's going to have interest as well. So we'll figure that in here. Now, what happened to the payment on the HELOC or any line of credit when I transferred my income in? What happened? It satisfied the monthly payment, right? So where's the payment on the HELOC? You just satisfied it. Your income went in, the payment's made. Does that make sense? Okay. So when this $5,200 went in, it satisfied any monthly payment. And let's just figure up. If we had $122,833 sitting on this account for the whole year, okay? So $122,833 times 20 equals $24,566.60, okay? But we're going to divide that by 12 to get what basically the payment would be at 20% per month would be $2,047.21. Now, is she going to pay $2,047 on this account for this first month? Maybe, but she's going to have to let that balance sit there the whole month, because if her income went in, the balance is going to come down. So she's not going to be paying that much in interest. Okay, so let's just look at it and see. But what if she was? What if she was paying this ridiculous 20% on a line of credit? Let's add it in there. So add 2,047. Let's just do 48 to make it even. In interest. What is the actual interest on this account going to be? Well, first of all, it's going to be at about a 9%, and they're going to average. So the bank takes the average daily balance and charges the interest rate on that. So if we have an average, that would be 117,633 plus 122,833 divided by 2, then times your interest rate. Okay, so that's going to give you the average. So if we were actually figuring what the interest was going to be, if she were at a 9%, which is the average rate as well, it would be about $900 a month. So I'm just showing you a high to show you that this still can work, even though you have a high interest rate. Remember, she had 10 years left on this mortgage regardless, okay? So let's do some addition. 126.81. What? She's already knocked this off by $2,200 in a month, paying ridiculous interest? I mean, are you serious? How does this even work? So if we were to do it again, so we're going to put in $5,200 in income for month 2. We're going to add expenses. Okay, and now I'm going to figure the interest on the high balance. Remember what I said is the average daily balance, but I'm going to figure it on the 126.81 times 20%. Yuck. That means she's going to be paying $2,011 in interest. Okay, so let's add this up. 118,492 is going to be the balance going into the third month. Are we making sense on what this looks like? All right, so let's go into our third month. So 118, this is very sloppy. I hope you can read my writing. I get super excited doing these easy ones. And a lot of you guys have the easy ones. You just don't know it. So here we are doing math again. 113,292. Wow, it's looking like we're really making progress here. So let's add in our expenses. And then again, we're going to take it off of the high balance, 118,492 times 20% divided by 12, 1976. That was a good year. All right, so 1976, 113, 292, and then 1,000 for the expenses. So 116, 268. All right, income goes in again. Month 4. So you're at 111, 068. Okay, you have been into this for 4 months. 4 months. 4. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about watching the numbers come down? How do you feel about in control now at 20% interest? I mean, it's mind-boggling how easy this is. But every single one of us have been raised in a mindset of making monthly payments. Making monthly payments, just like we were showing here. All of these payments, she has been religiously making monthly payments, okay? She's doing her good duty as an American citizen, making her monthly payments. Who is that serving? Who is that serving? I want to see on the 20% interest, how long it's going to take her to go ahead and finish this balance out. So let me do some numbers here. And I'm figuring the interest, like I said, so high because I don't want anybody to come back and say, yeah, but. So she's talking about on the total amount here, the 122,833. How long was it going to take her to pay off the Discover loan? Do you remember what I said about that? That she had 48 months left? How long do you think it's going to take her to pay off the whole 122,833 at 20% interest? 41 months. You all need to think about what you're doing with your money. You need to watch videos until they make you sick, because this is going to change your life when you get your finances in order and you stop playing games with these high interest loans. Transferring your debt into the line of credit, even at 20%, is going to change your life. What if she had a 9%, which is the going rate right now for a HELOC? What if she had that? Well, let's see. So 9% at 122,833 times 9% divided by 12. Wow. That's only $921 as the high charge that she will never pay if she's doing velocity banking correctly. She's paying on an average daily balance. As that income goes in, you are keeping the balance down. So what would her payoff be if she were in the 9%? About 35 months. 35 to 41 months compared to a 10 years she had left off on the mortgage here, compared to the 48 months she had left on Discover. I don't care who you are and how you run your numbers. You're in the scam right now. The scam is that loan you're in. The scam is in that mortgage that you're in. When you stand up and decide that, hey, I'm going to take control of my finances, and you start taking steps to get your life in order financially, debt's not going to be your problem. We're going to have all kinds of problems out here on the outside that we need to deal with, but debt's not one of them. So when you decide to get things in order and learn and educate yourself, if you can't get a line of credit, Money Max is going to be your saving grace 99% of the time. Okay? So for goodness sake, take control. It will change your life. Okay, I have to go. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you've learned something. And you know what? I'm going to see you in the next video. Have a good day.